I like to play with my life in many ways. That's what they say. Here I am, a rigodon. I'm a Tico, the mascot.
It's my turn, the gentle touch. The mommy, they love me so much.
Hey, now the story must go on, 'cause a lot of time is gone. We must be ready to go away.
80 days around the world, we'll find a pot of gold. Just sitting where the rainbow's ending time. We'll fight against the time, and we'll fly on the white wings of the wind. 80 days around the world, no, we won't say a word before the ship is really back. Round, round, all around the world. Round, all around the world. Round, all around the world. Round, all around the world.
Episode 14. 44 days have elapsed since Willy Fog began his daring attempt to travel around the world in 80 days. His present whereabouts are of great interest to Commissioner Rowan of Scotland Yard, who suspects Mr. Fogg of having robbed the Bank of England a few days prior to his departure.
Well,
Yeah?
Commissioner, any news?
Good evening, Mr. Sullivan. In fact, I've just received this cable. I've got good news for you and your bank, Sullivan. Inspector DIX and Constable Bully have trailed Fogg to Hong Kong. Since he's on British territory, we can send a warrant for his arrest.
I'm glad to finally see some progress after all this time. But what have they done to detain Fogg in Hong Kong until the warrant arrives, Commissioner?
Mr. Fogg was supposed to board the Carnactic for Yokohama, but it's
Eh?
under repair. The warrant should arrive in plenty of time.
They can't allow the Carnatic to leave. That's the only way of preventing him from escaping again.
Never fear, Mr. Sullivan. My men have received instructions.
Sorry to disturb you, gentlemen, but we've just received news about Willy Fog. One of my ships managed to contact the captain of the Carnatic, and though he's listed among the passengers, he wasn't
What the devil?
aboard. The captain had his men search the entire ship. It seems to me that the obvious conclusion is that he must still be in Hong Kong, unless he took another ship. But I can't imagine what good that would do him.
Another
that?
ship? But the steamer Carnatic is the only ship scheduled to go from Hong Kong to Yokohama.
Mr. Fogg's absence from the Carnatic is due to the schemes of a conniving master of disguise named Transfer, who has cunningly separated Mr. Fogg from two of his companions, the loyal Tico and his friend Rigodon, who is about to suffer a rather rude awakening.
Hey, Rigodon, wake up! Wake up! Rise and shine, open at 'em! Oh, come on, Rigodon! Now you asked for it. I'm gonna have to use my emergency wake-up technique. You know what? How am I gonna wake him? He can't hear me over the noise of these big engines. It's awful lonely in here all by myself. And I don't know what to do without Rigodon. Sorry, Rigodon. I had to wake you somehow. Look, Rigodon, we got problems here. Don't you understand?
Calm down. Hey, where are we, Tico? What is this place?
The Carnatic's engine room.
On board the Carnatic? But how do we get here?
What do you want from me? You're supposed to be the one with all the answers. I'm gonna wake up on the floor same as you.
Huh?
I hate to say I told you so, but you should never have trusted that Inspector Dix. It's all his fault.
What?
Ow, damn, I'm gonna knock some sense into that thick skull of
Oh,
yours.
stop it, Tico. My head hurts. I have a hangover.
So you're right.
Tico, it's all coming back to me. Inspector Dick said he has something important to tell me about Monsieur Fogg. Wake up, Tico.
I think you'll like this. It has a real kick to it. There, one last drink to friendship.
To friendship. Come on, Tico, wake up. We have to go now. Oh, mon Dieu, now I know what happens. That bad man put something in our drinks, Tico.
Why, Rigodon? Why us? What good are you gonna do him?
He told me he was an inspector from Scotland Yard and said he was following Monsieur Fogg. Oh, Tico, I was so stupid to believe him.
Well, what do we do now? How are we ever gonna find the princess and Mr. Fogg?
You mean they're not on board?
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
So, the stowaways are alike, eh? I suppose you two thought you could get away without paying your way. But I got news for you two. You're gonna pay your passage by working harder than you've ever worked in your life.
We must always.
But we have our tickets right here, monsieur. Now, where did they go?
Give it up, mate. I've already been through both your pockets, and this is what I found. Here, take them back. Your passports won't pay the fare.
Thank you.
Now we'll see how hard you two can work. And if it's not hard enough, you'll both go overboard.
All right,
Go
all
on,
right.
move it, I said. Can't you two move any faster? What are you waiting for? This ain't no pleasure cruise, you know. Oh, too bad you spilled all those potatoes, because now you're going to have to pick them all up. Get moving.
Get this thing off of me!
Hey, I thought I told you to scrub harder.
Yes, sir. What's the matter, Tico? Are you homesick?
It's the smell in here. The onions. Just like back home with my mama making the pasta.
Tico, I wonder what happened to Monsieur Fogg and Princess Romy. I hope they are safe wherever they are.
Meanwhile, back in Hong Kong, Willy Fog and the princess are equally worried about Tico and Rigodon.
They were both here yesterday, but they vanished without the slightest trace.
Perhaps they misunderstood you, Monsieur Fogg, and thought that you had intended to meet them aboard the Carnactic.
Out of the question. They wouldn't think of it.
Hong Kong is a large city. They could have gotten lost.
Meanwhile, Bully and Dix are painstakingly searching, or rather, painfully searching for Mr. Fogg.
Oh, will you walk a little more quietly? The inside of my skull feels like 1,000 clamoring Zulus are battling, and do not interrupt me while I'm complaining. As I've told you, Bully, this is not a hangover. My head hurts because that psychopathic criminal hit me over the head.
I am aware of that, sir. After all, it was me that found you lying half naked and unconscious in the alley.
Yes. And as if that weren't embarrassment enough, Willy Fog has slipped through our fingers again, and the odds of finding him now are incredible! There he is, Bully! We found him!
Incredible.
Very clever. We board the Carnatic while he remains behind, but we fooled him completely by cleverly missing the boat. All right, I'll see if the warrants arrived while you follow him.
I won't let them out of my sight, sir. It was clever of us to miss that boat.
All right, sailor, we sail in 10 minutes. Get your back into it.
Excuse me, sir. May I speak to your captain?
Well, sir, if it's looking for the vessel skipper you be talking to him.
I'm awfully sorry to impose on you, Captain, but do you suppose you could spare just a few moments of your time?
I'm ready to sail. Can it wait a month or two?
No, I'm in quite a rush and I can't waste a minute.
All right, what is it?
We need to get to Yokohama as quickly as we can. We'll pay you handsomely for the hire of your ship.
Yokohama? You can't be serious. I won't sail to Japan, sir, and neither will anyone else.
Oh.
That's a dangerous journey. I'd find another way to go around the world if I were you. No, I will not go to Yokohama. I do not want to be eaten by a crazy samurai. No, not to Japan. I have heard that there is not a drop of vodka in the whole country.
Looks like Mr. Fogg's luck's run out.
Hurry up! I'll not have you loafing. Put your backs into it, you coolies, or I'll throw the lot of you to the sharks. And don't think I don't mean it.
It's not a very large ship. Do you think it could get us to Yokohama in time?
I wonder. It's a nice enough ship, but I don't think it could gather enough speed.
I beg to differ.
Are you the captain of this vessel?
Aye, sir, I certainly am, and I'll not have you talking so of me ship.
No insult intended, I assure you. But you see, I'm looking for a very fast ship indeed.
Well, to a landlubber like yourself, she may look like just a wee bit of a boat, but let me tell you, laddie, with a right fair following wind in her sails, she's as fast as any ship that sails the China seas.
How exciting! Then you must know this area well.
Better than any other seafaring man in these waters. Why, sir, are you needing a guide?
Well, what I'm most in need of is a ship that can outrun a steamer.
Fine. How far are you sailing then, sir, to Macau?
Yokohama's our destination, and we only have 6 days to get there. I have a vital connection to make with another vessel which will take us to San Francisco.
You must understand, sir, to make that journey in this season is too risky. Aye, too risky.
All right then, Captain. I'll offer you £100 sterling per day.
And I repeat, too risky.
And 200 more if we're on time.
let me get this straight. You mean I'd be getting a 200 quid bonus?
Mm-hmm. And I'll even pay you the entire amount in advance.
Well, well, sir, I don't know. I'll have to think about it.
Oh.
All right, you worthless pack of sea barnacles. Pay attention. We're going to Yokohama.
Well.
When I was a nipper, I used to have a boat just like that in my bathtub.
Meanwhile, at Hong Kong Police Headquarters...
But you are the Commissioner of Police. Why not issue the warrant yourself? Can't you see, Commissioner, that if you allow this criminal genius to leave Hong Kong, we might never have another chance to arrest him?
Calm yourself, Inspector.
Commissioner, listen to reason. If we don't get Willy Fog now, we never will. This is the last British colony in Asia.
Might I offer you a cup of green tea, Inspector? It's very good for hysterics.
No.
As you prefer.
I'll tell you what I'd prefer. That you fulfill your responsibilities as a professional police officer and stop gollybagging aloud. I mean lollybagging about.
Excuse me, sir. Yes? An English citizen would like to see us, Mr. Willy Fog, and he has in his company a young lady.
What? Why the nerve of that man?
Well, I was looking forward to this. Do ask him to come in. Of course, sir, as soon as I put my hat back on.
If he sees me here, he'll suspect that something's up, Commissioner. So, where shall I hide? Here. Oh, and try to act naturally, won't you?
Ah, Mr. Fogg and Princess Romy, delighted to meet you.
Good morning.
Commissioner, I've come to ask you a favor.
Yes? How can I be of help?
Aunt!
Sir, I'd like you to take care of this money for me, if you would.
But to what use shall I put it, Mr. Fogg?
I've lost my faithful retainers, TICO and RIGODON. If they should come to you, that will help them get back to London.
This is a great deal of money. Whatever shall I do with it if I don't see them, Mr. Fogg?
In that case, donate it to a local charity. Commissioner?
Happy to be of service, Mr. Fogg. Have a lovely day.
After you, Princess.
Of course, I'm my favorite charity.
Commissioner! Why didn't you arrest him? That's the man I was talking about! That's part of the Merlin stunning. I mean the stolen money from the Ink of Bingland. Oh, the Ink of Bangland.
Inspector, Mr. Fogg impresses me as being an extremely well-bred gentleman.
He is a thief!
You do need some time off, Inspector. This case has been quite trying for you. Understandable under the circumstances. May I recommend a good bathhouse?
You're unwilling to do your job, eh? Well, I'm not. Clifford Dix always gets his man. The reputation of Scotland Yard is at stake. Farewell, Commissioner.
Watch out, Inspector.
You nincompoop.
But it's an emergency, sir. I've something important to tell you about Willy Fog.
Well, then report. What is our clever Mr. Fogg up to now, eh?
Looks like he's found a boat that's going to take him to Japan.
What? A boat?
That's right, Inspector. He's found a one-eyed fellow in a Chinese junk who's sailing to Yokohama.
Oh, no, Bonnie, he's getting away again! Come on! Hurry, Bonnie! So. I say, what a remarkable coincidence. Aren't you Willy Fog?
Yes. Mr. Dix, what a pleasure.
Indeed it is. May I ask where you're traveling?
Japan's our destination. Yokohama.
That's amazing, Mr. Fogg. I, too, was on my way to Yokohama, but alas, I missed the connection.
How extraordinary. Well, so you're on the same route as we are.
Yes, the inefficiency of these shipping companies is absolutely inexcusable. I was supposed to be in Yokohama for a very important business deal.
I too am in a hurry, I understand.
Goodbye.
But I'll tell you what, Mr. Dix, if you don't mind the accommodations, why don't you sail with us?
You mean you believe that I accept your kind and generous offer. Thank you so very much, Mr. Fogg.
Wait! They're getting away, Inspector.
I do suppose my attorney here could also travel with us.
Of course.
Oh, well, this is better than I could have expected.
But, sir, you think they believe I'm a lawyer?
If they've met any of the ones I know, believe me, they'll not doubt it for an instant.
Hello, and welcome aboard, Mr. Fogg. We're ready to hoist sail whenever you say.
Thank you, Captain. Two of my fellow countrymen who've also missed the Carnatic are going to accompany us.
Whatever you say, Mr. Fogg.
This is Mr. Dix, a London merchant, and his attorney.
Mr. Fogg, I don't know what your expenses have been in hiring this ship, but I should tell you now that we can only afford to pay you what we would have paid for passage on the Carnactic.
You shan't pay at all.
I say, jolly good of you.
Well, I'll tell you now that I don't like London merchants and don't trust lawyers.
I shall vouch for them.
I'll take your word on it, Mr. Fogg. Just keep 'em out of the way. Hoist sail, buckos. Yokohama's calling.
I'm so worried about Tico and Rigodon. Wherever they are, I hope they're safe.
Don't worry, they're good fellows. They'll get along all right.
Unfortunately, Tico and Rigodon are not getting along well at all, for they are suffering the abuse of the wicked transfer, who has disguised himself as the ship's stoker.
You two mates are getting lazy again. You call that a fire? Put your backs into it. You layabouts, Marco! You're the laziest pair of stowaways I ever seen. If you don't hurry up with that stoking, I'll see to it neither of you eats tonight.
All right.
Don't give me no lip. You two think you had it so tough. You were regular members of this crew. I would have seen you fired long ago.
Meanwhile, Willy Fog and Princess Romy are discovering why so few ships venture into this area at this time of year. For this is typhoon season, when only the most courageous seamen sail the China Sea.
Lovely evening for a storm, don't you think, Mr. Fogg?
It looks to me as if it might be a typhoon.
Did you say typhoon? Why, a bad storm like that could break this ship into 1,000 tiny pieces, Captain.
Be careful how you speak of this vessel, mister, or I'll have you thrown overboard and you can go to the devil where cowards belong. All right, you sea scum, reef the sails. We've no time to lose. Hurry up now. We've got to ride this lady out. She's not going to be easy. It looks like we're right in the heart of the winds. Hold fast. We're in for an exciting ride, buckos.
The ship is so small, Mr. Fogg. Do you think it can weather the storm?
Yes, Princess. I believe it can.
He might go down. This rotten little scow isn't seaworthy.
Well, look on the bright side, so we're not underwater yet.
Hold fast, mates. This is the worst of it.
In the darkest depths of a stormy night, it often seems as if morning will never come. But the prodigal son always returns.
Hey, Rigodon, I'm think we ought to go out on a strike. We ain't had a break in I don't know how long. We've been working all night.
Tico, be thankful we are out of that engine room.
You two don't get to work, I'll never let you off this ship, you understand?
Yes, sir.
The Carnatic has weathered the storm quite well. Such is not the case, however, with the smaller pirate vessel, which has suffered extensive damage.
There's absolutely no chance of our being on time.
Of course not, Mr. Fogg. Just use your eyes. My sails are all hanging in tatters. I'm very sorry, sir, but you're not going to make your connection in Yokohama.
Oh, no. What do you recommend?
I think you've got no other choice but to head for Shanghai.
What reason would you have for taking us to Shanghai? The only ship bound for San Francisco leaves from Yokohama.
True. But I happen to know the schedules of all the ships in these waters, and if I'm not mistaken, it also touches port in Shanghai.
Yes, I think you may be right, you know.
You see, it's 2 whole days to Yokohama, but we can be in Shanghai in half a day with a fair following wind, Mr. Fogg. And with a wee bit of luck, we might even cross paths with the General on the open sea.
The odds against such a meeting are astronomical, aren't they?
If I wasn't able to find any ship afloat in these waters, I'd be ashamed to call myself the son of the pirate, One-Eyed Jim.
The One-Eyed Jim?
My daddy.
Ship ahoy off the port bow, Captain!
What's that?
Are you deaf, Captain? I said ship ahoy off the port bow!
Aye, there she is, lads. She looks good enough to eat. All right, you buckos, all hands on deck. Prepare the cannon, hoist the black flag.
Aye,
No.
Mr. Fogg, we can't just let this happen. This is open piracy.
Nothing we can do. I'm afraid that as long as we're on board this ship, we're powerless, Princess.
Now we've got 'em.
This is against the law, Inspector, I can tell. Why don't the two of us take on the lot of them? I say put them in irons.
I'll put your brain in irons. If they're in custody, then who will navigate the ship?
All right, boys, let's go! We'll give him another one across their bow.
You're not gonna believe this, Captain, but we're being shot at by a pirate ship.
What do they want with us? We're only carrying passengers.
What are we gonna do, Captain?
Don't know. It's flying the black flag, all right. Looks like One-Eyed Jim's old ship, but it couldn't be. Hey, that looks just like him. Hey! Tell the engine room to stop the engines on the double! Yes, sir.
Well, that's the Ulysses S. Grant, Mr. Fogg, the ship that'll take you to America.
Thank you, Captain. Quite impressive. Locating a specific ship on the high seas is tantamount to finding the proverbial needle in a haystack.
The compliment's all the sweeter coming from a gentleman such as yourself. You know, I didn't take you aboard my ship because of the money, but because you seem like a fella who might enjoy a bit of adventure like me and the rest of the crew. Just like the old days, eh, boys? That's right. Just like the old days.
Permission to come aboard, Captain.
Permission granted.
You're Mr. Fogg, aren't you? We thought we'd see you in Yokohama, but we're honored to have you aboard.
And I'm honored to be recognized. But please allow me to apologize for the rather unorthodox and violent manner in which we caught your attention, Captain.
Oh, don't let it bother you, Mr. Fogg. What you're doing takes a lot of guts, and I'm pleased to have you with us.
The pleasure is all mine, Captain.
And so, with a final salute from his seafaring friends, Willy Fog and Princess Romy sail off aboard the General Grant, bound for Yokohama, thence across the wide Pacific to North America. In our next episode, Tico and Rigodon find themselves alone and penniless in a strange land, and fall back on their skills as performers. A dangerous way to make a living when the wicked you-know-who is disguised as the knife thrower. Be sure to join us for Akita's Circus, the next episode of our thrilling journey around the world with Willy Fog.